A flat tire in the rain. That's what happened earlier in the week when I was out with my partner. We were driving along and felt the car pulling a little bit, and so he pulled in. And here's what happened. At the same time, my daughter called me and wanted to speak to me, so I got very involved in a phone conversation. I think I was talking to her for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Intent I was in this conversation. And while I was speaking to her, I noticed that the car was moving a little bit. It was being moved up. It was being jacked up, and I could feel sort of the car being jostled about and things being picked out of the boot. And I didn't really think too much of it. I just presumed that my partner was checking to see what was wrong with the car, because I didn't realize at that point that we had a flat tire. But this is the part that I wanted to share with you. So it was pouring with rain, and he was in shorts and a t-shirt, and it wasn't cold, but it was chilly, certainly. Anyway, I finished the conversation with my daughter. I opened the door, I went outside, and he smiled at me, and he practically finished changing the flat tire. And that really struck me. I think he complained not at all about what happened. I probably complained more about having to put the flat tire in the back of the car and help him with that than he actually did about the entire episode. He just got on with it. And I asked him about that later. I said, that really impressed me, the way he didn't react to it. He just greeted it as an event, as something that needed dealing with. And I thought a lot about the philosophy behind that. And I know that he feels this way, that he feels like he doesn't wish to create a stir or, let's say, react to things that are simply events. So he really endeavors just to greet each event as if it's kind of equal, that the so-called happy events and the sad events are the same, that there really is no good or bad. There are just, it's all just weather. It's all just rain or sunshine or wind, and all equal. And so I think that we could all learn something from that. We could all benefit from that approach. It is just a decision that we make, and often these reactions come from our story. So this is the importance of understanding what those early years of life have given us in terms of the beliefs that we're holding and the thought patterns that we've created and that we keep repeating as a cycle. Every single time that we have a certain type of emotion which is familiar to us, we then react in the same kind of way. But it is possible to change that. So the first thing is awareness, just acceptance of whatever that story is, understanding it, accepting that is what happened, and leaning into, as I've talked about many, many times, the emotions connected to that. And then it becomes a matter of choice. You, in the present moment, have no story. Everything is possible in this new moment, this fresh moment of life. You have the potential to just experience it as opposed to react from old patterns. And so consider that when you greet life, when you have the flat tire events and the other things that are perhaps by your perception much worse, or even the so-called really happy events, just meet them as if they're all the same. I think there's a lot of freedom in that, and I think that the key is acceptance. So I leave you with that word, acceptance, and I hope that that releases you from some of your story.